evening. It is August 4th. We don't have the June July thing anymore. Approximately 9 p.m. And yes, I finally put together some thoughts, and it's really just a question for everybody, and I would like to hear everybody's opinion on this. If you are a fan of Maynard James Keenan, as I am, you are familiar with Tool, of course, and then A Perfect Circle, and if you're really a fan, Pucifer. I have some thoughts about those three bands. So here's kind of, let me put out my theory, and y'all can tell me if I'm right, if I'm way off base, and if somehow some of the guys in the bands and girls hear this stuff, and I would be interested in their opinion, if it, how they view, and especially Maynard, because he has all three projects, like you'll ever see any of this, but whatever, I can dream. So I view Tool as his orchestra, his rock opera, his grand stage band. I mean, if you've watched any of the Drumios, they've thrust Tool onto a couple of drummers, and they're like, "Kill me now." Odd time signatures, weird shit. Just, I mean, but amazing, amazing music. Very well composed, just brilliant stuff. So his rock opera, not his, but the band Tool is to me is the rock opera. It's just this grand performance. A Perfect Circle, and especially with how the first album went, Meridinomes, um, was kind of his foray into just plain rock and roll. It still had the Tool edge to it, and especially when you got into the later albums, not so much. It had a lot more thought and feel to it, and a lot more vulnerability, let's say. Pucifer, on the other hand, that's just an exploration I would consider performance art, and especially if you watch some of the videos and even some of their live performances on video, it's very, to me, it's very much his performance art. This is where he really gets to get weird and crazy. And if you and the music is heavily, heavily, heavily influenced. I'm looking at my time. I'm going to go over that 3 minute mark. So because I want to complete these thoughts. So again, Tool is the rock opera orchestra, just this grand musical exploration. A Perfect Circle gives more of, not typical rock and roll, but more of an overarching rock and roll exploration, in the sense that he shows more vulnerability with several songs, and the band as well. Just, I mean, when I say Maynard, I go by him lyrically, but the musicians in their collaboration, I feel like A Perfect Circle shows more vulnerability. Pucifer, again, is just this performance art, just because it spans a bunch of different genres, and the I wouldn't be able to put Pucifer in any real like slot per se. I would have them be its own thing, because there is bluegrass and country influences, and like full on like art rock, and just all this different stuff. So my question to you is, how would you view those projects? How would you view those bands? How would you, not necessarily categorize, but is the project just so grand that it would be along the lines of a rock opera or a rock orchestra? And actually, that would be an interesting thing if they did something like Metallica did with the San Francisco Symphony. Um, that would be interesting. In A Perfect Circle, kind of a more vulnerable foray into rock music type of thing, where it's showing more sides of emotion of what they can do. And then with Pucifer, just the artistic side. Is that the performance art? Is that the let's get truly weird. So let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested to have this conversation. I will come back and I will focus on some of your comments and questions, and we'll probably go back and forth just so I get a better understanding of what your thoughts are, just so I can get them right. So let me know what you guys think.